A lot of players in the country playing Division I basketball. Nobody scored more points in one game this year than you. That's the most.
That's
this season.
crazy. Yeah. More to come for sure.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark, who?
No, don't do that.
Okay,
Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that. Much respect there.
The whole thing you're trying to do is put your head under the rim.
Introduction. The generational talent narrative shattered JUJU Watkins. The name was synonymous with future greatness. Before she even stepped onto a college court, whispers hailed her as a generational talent, the heir apparent to women's basketball royalty. She wasn't just expected to be good. She was supposed to redefine the game. Raw skill, unmatched confidence, and a drive that seemed limitless. JUJU Watkins was the next big thing, destined to dominate. But somewhere along the way, the script flipped. The anticipated coronation took an unexpected, dramatic detour. What happens when the blinding spotlight shifts, and a seemingly unstoppable rising star suddenly finds herself not ascending, but fighting a perceived downfall?
You're getting some aerobic fitness in. Good. I need it.
Yep. Good. Push. Yep. Sail. Yep. Good. All the way through. Yeah. Good. Nice. Good. Yep. Good. Yep. Front. Good. Yep. Tap. Yep. That's it. Yeah. Those feet. Yep. Tap. Yep. Push. In and out. Good. Yep. 1, 2. Not bad.
Ann Myers, the great Ann Myers, said one thing: enjoy it. Don't lose sight of the fun. Now, it was easy for me to embrace that and grasp that because I didn't have the social media like you do. I didn't have everybody coming out of the woodwork and the tags and the money and everything else and those attraction, and the lights were always bright. And in the back of my mind, I was wondering, and I've always wanted to ask you, is where is your quiet time? Where this is JUJU's time.
Here, put your head under the rim. So now she can't track you, right? She got to try to come through your body and the rim. Good, nice.
Why do you say the step? Because you said it twice.
She's working on an in and out step.
JUJU, congratulations on a heck of a performance. So much on the line in this rivalry game. What was the mindset you guys brought into this game that allowed you to be successful?
I think teamwork. Everybody scored. Everybody made a positive effect on the game. So
Rewind a few years, and the JUJU Watkins hype train was running at full speed. Her high school career at Sierra Canyon wasn't just impressive, it was legendary. Game after game, she painted masterpieces on the court, casually dropping 30, 40, even 50 points. Highlight reels became her calling card, step-back threes that seemed effortless, fearless drives to the basket, and game-sealing defensive plays that showcased a complete, almost preternatural talent. She wasn't just playing basketball, she was owning it, bending the game to her will. College scouts salivated, every powerhouse program in the nation vying for her commitment. But Watkins, in a move that amplified her already burgeoning legend, chose a different path. Instead of joining a dynasty, she opted to stay home, to elevate USC, a program steeped in history but recently adrift in mediocrity. It was the perfect narrative, the hometown hero returning to restore glory. Expectations weren't just high, they were astronomical. JUJU Watkins was poised to become the undisputed queen of college basketball.
First half, Marshall left alone once again. She's made a house in the paint.
Intense physical game down to the very end. What gave your team the edge?
Man, I feel like we're underrated at this point.
You're really trying to challenge me with the flash. I like it.
Going up against the South Carolina machine. Sonano and Saxton to jump it up. And we are underway as South Carolina wins the...
All that tonight.
Here is Clark. She will launch and bury a three.
When she comes off that pin down action, gets her feet.
able to secure defensive boards. LSU, an outstanding offensive rebounding team. Clark connects.
Then, the earth shifted. Her name was Caitlin Clark, and her arrival on the national scene was less an entrance and more an explosion. Clark didn't just join the conversation, she hijacked it, rewriting the record books with a ferocity and flair that was breathtaking to watch. While Watkins was expected to gracefully ascend the throne, Clark was busy dismantling it and building something entirely new in its place. Record after record crumbled under Clark's relentless offensive onslaught. She wasn't just excelling, she was redefining what was possible, pushing the boundaries of the game itself. And for the first time in her career, JUJU Watkins wasn't the undisputed center of attention. She wasn't the name on everyone's lips. That shift, that subtle but seismic change in the basketball landscape, began to gnaw at her. Inevitably, the comparisons began. Media outlets, fans, analysts, everyone started juxtaposing Watkins and Clark. It was the classic narrative of two rising stars, destined for rivalry. But for JUJU Watkins, this wasn't a motivating rivalry. It became a consuming obsession. Instead of fueling her own game, the constant comparisons seemed to weigh her down, casting a shadow over her performances. The narrative became less about Watkins's incredible talent and more about how she measured up against the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. This wasn't the script Watkins had envisioned. The spotlight, once solely hers, was now glaring elsewhere, and the pressure to not just perform, but to outperform Clark began to mount.
I don't know if I've seen a woman college basketball player as polished as JUJU Watkins. Stephen A., the way she can put the ball on the floor, get to the rim, Euro step, one leg, three-point shot, mid-range shot, and she can play outstanding defense. She'll sit in the chair. She can block shots. She can slide. Stephen A., she is as polished as a basketball player as that we've seen at the women's level.
Yo, man, we should be talking about her the way we talked about Caitlin Clark last year. JUJU
absolutely.
JUJU special. I'm telling you that right now. She is the package. And she's gonna be special.
To meet the next generation of star athletes. We'll begin on the West Coast with top-ranked girls prospect JUJU Watkins.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much on the line, and we know it, but we're still coming out here and playing with the same intensity, going with more intensity and just more grit, and we're having fun out here. So, yeah.
Juju, we've talked so much about the dream that.
I'm sure somebody asked you about Juju, but what were your thoughts when she went down?
Just sick to my stomach. I didn't watch the video. I can't watch that stuff. It makes me just sick and ill. Devastation, obviously. You just empathize for her because I've been in that position where you have this devastating injury. She had it at a time where it's just the worst timing, and you're playing for a national championship, competing, playing with your team, enjoying the season. So you just feel for her. Honestly, and for like him saying that as someone who's also from LA and went to SC as well, it just means the world. So shout out DeMar.
Yeah, shout out. Well, speaking of DeMar, I spoke to him last night, and I said that I was going to be interviewing you this morning, and I asked him to tell me what makes you special, and this is what he said, okay? He said her hunger and her drive to want to be special, the attention to details, knowledge and preparation she puts into the game, watched her since she was in the 8th grade, so humble and willing to work, ask questions, carry herself with no ego, but has a killer instinct when it's time to win. She for sure is one of one.
He's so sweet. He's so sweet.
What is that like, hearing that, those just words of affirmation from, I feel like, one of the best we've ever seen?
I mean, that just makes my day.
Inevitably, the comparisons began. Media outlets, fans, analysts, everyone started juxtaposing Watkins and Clark. It was the classic narrative of two rising stars, destined for rivalry. But for JUJU Watkins, this wasn't a motivating rivalry. It became a consuming obsession. Instead of fueling her own game, the constant comparisons seemed to weigh her down, casting a shadow over her performances. The narrative became less about Watkins's incredible talent and more about how she measured up against the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. This wasn't the script Watkins had envisioned. The spotlight, once solely hers, was now glaring elsewhere, and the pressure to not just perform, but to outperform Clark began to mount.
Basketball, you going up the ladder. Do you want to continue in the entertainment business with acting, or maybe do some music like the girl Flo J got signed to Rock Nation? I don't know, you might want to rap.
I would say entertainment.
By Smith. Here is Watkins in transition where she's so dangerous. Here's Watkins motoring in, stopping, and
This is what a generational talent looks like.
She has range, she has vision.
excellent pass.
Also happens to be 6'2" and utterly devastating athletically.
I'm going to give a magazine to Beyonce, one to Blue Ivy, and one to Jay-Z. And all this stuff can be together.
My favorite player in the world right now. As soon as he called my sister and was like, Juju, I was like, Juju? I love Juju.
Oh, thank you so much.
When I hit Jay, I was like, guess who coming today? Juju. I'm like, Juju, Pete.
Oh, what a pass. Wow,
The pressure started to show. Subtle cracks began to appear in the seemingly impenetrable facade of JUJU Watkins' confidence. Body language in post-game interviews became tenser. Responses to questions about Clark's record-breaking feats sharper, less gracious. Then came the viral moments, amplified by the ever-watchful eye of social media. An eye roll caught on camera during a press conference, a curt reply that hinted at underlying resentment. Analysts dissected every word, every gesture, searching for signs of bitterness, of insecurity. The narrative began to solidify. JUJU Watkins, the once untouchable prodigy, was cracking under the pressure of comparison. Public perception, that fickle beast, began to shift. She was no longer just the next big thing. Now, whispers started questioning her mental fortitude, her ability to handle the intense scrutiny of the spotlight.
Everything they can to force JUJU Watkins left. Pulls up for the three, and that
Watkins curling. The hesitation, nice pocket pass here. Marshall.
Football player.
Definitely, with credit to his mother and his family and the great coaches. But like I say, he's a great kid. His spirit is right. Your spirit has to be right if you're on a football team, first and foremost, because you can be replaced at any time.
Right.
And when you see somebody making plays,
you got to be happy for him.
Exactly.
This shift in perception started to bleed onto the court. The effortless brilliance that once defined Watkins's game seemed to flicker. Missed shots were followed by visible frustration. Defensive lapses became more frequent, and an overall shift in her on-court energy was palpable. It wasn't a dramatic collapse, but a subtle, concerning decline. Combined with the relentless media narrative, it painted a picture of a player spiraling, losing control of both her game and her image. In the unforgiving world of professional sports, perception is paramount. And for JUJU Watkins, that perception was rapidly turning negative. What was once seen as unwavering confidence was now being interpreted as arrogance, and her struggle to match Clark's meteoric rise was being framed as a failure to handle pressure.
I really got my love from, but I always didn't play basketball. Like I played soccer and like gymnastics and like
story of birth.
I did everything. I really did everything. Did you?
What's the joke? Why are you laughing?
No, because she didn't do anything.
I actually did tennis for a week.
Oh, I did tennis too.
Okay, and?
So I was really good at all the sports.
JUJU wasn't.
Yeah, she wasn't. You didn't really expand. But yeah, I did everything.
At some point in time, you're going to have to get JUJU involved.
Got to.
And JUJU is finding out what it's like to be the number one, the guy that everybody builds their defense to try and stop.
Right. I think you're legit.
The consequences extended beyond the court. In the modern era of college athletics, name, image, and likeness deals, NIL, are a crucial part of the game. Marketability is king, and it's built on more than just talent. Brands seek athletes who are charismatic, composed, and crucially, widely liked. Caitlin Clark was checking every single one of those boxes. She wasn't just winning games, she was winning over fans, sponsors, and the entire sports world. Her name was driving ticket sales, merchandise numbers, and record-breaking television ratings. Meanwhile, for JUJU Watkins, the opposite effect was taking hold. Instead of being a must-watch sensation, she was becoming the athlete with a growing question mark hovering over her. This narrative of struggle, of perceived bitterness, doesn't just damage a player's reputation, it hits their bottom line. The lucrative NIL deals, the endorsements, the sponsorships, all become vulnerable when the public perception turns sour.
That's because JUJU's a great kid. His spirit is right.
Right. And by the way, you helped raise him as a...
Who is the coolest person that you've trained with?
I would say the coolest, probably, I don't know, I wouldn't say the coolest, but he's really cool. I would probably say James Harden.
James Harden?
Yeah, because just to see.
A Sixer?
Yeah. Just to see like how he trains and like how he like imagines stuff on the court, it kind of got you thinking like, oh man, like I should do this. Like,
it's just like a broken record, isn't it? And we are underway. The Buffs in their visiting darker jerseys, stem to stern.
JUJU Watkins stands at a crossroads. The talent is undeniable. That much remains crystal clear. But talent alone isn't enough. To salvage her legacy, she needs to rewrite the narrative, to wrestle back control of the perception that threatens to define her. Can she shift her mindset, embrace the competition, and refocus solely on her own game, silencing the noise of comparison? Or will the weight of expectation, the sting of being eclipsed, continue to drag her down a path of perceived decline? Is this the beginning of a remarkable redemption story, or the prelude to a heartbreaking fade away? The answer, it seems, lies entirely with JUJU Watkins herself. The world of sports is unforgivingly fast-paced, and right now Caitlin Clark is leaving a comet trail in her wake. What do you think? Can JUJU Watkins turn things around and reclaim her narrative, or is her career trajectory already heading downwards? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives into the biggest stories in sports, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next breakdown.